sitting on the bench with Justin Jefferson. And he was saying, boy, it's loud in here. And I kind of looked at him thinking, yeah, I guess this is your first time.
This is the KARE 11 Vikings Extra.
And finally, getting into the win column, and it doesn't come down to the last second. Welcome to the Vikings Extra. I'm Dave Schwartz, along with our new sports director, Reggie Wilson. Welcome to the KARE 11 sports team, Reggie, and he only knows winning Vikings games.
How about that?
Well, it doesn't happen all the time.
I mean, I get here and it happens, and
you're the good luck charm.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to start my Vikings experience. Packed stadium. They somehow made it snow pregame, and they served ice cream at halftime. So good vibes, and most importantly, a dub, Dave.
Yeah.
One of the biggest plays that helped seal that dub is this pass from Kirk Cousins to KJ Osborne on third down with a little more than 8 minutes left. You want to talk about locked in? I remember gasping up in the press box, watching Cousins just float this perfectly to Osborne as he was falling to the ground. Without a doubt, for me, the best play Cousins has made this season, Dave.
I would agree. And what I loved about the play was the moment after when Kirk Cousins and Clint Kubiak pointed at each other as if to say, hey, we knew this was coming, and it worked. It's becoming a very good relationship for both. And Kubiak is getting creative with the play calling as well, more so than we've seen in a long time. And that includes when his father was calling plays here. Cousins is clearly flourishing.
I felt pressure. I felt, KJ's me one-on-one on a shallow cross. I have a lot of trust in KJ's ability to separate versus man coverage and go get the football. And I felt like if I put it out there, there'd be green grass, and at worst, it's incomplete. KJ made me right.
It was on 3rd and 6 or 7. It was an outstanding play because he was going to get rocked, and he knew it. And made a great, accurate throw to KJ.
I've only been here a week, but I quickly found out how polarizing Kirk Cousins is. The criticism is probably not fair all the time, but when you're the quarterback, you're an easy target. But Cousins is telling all the haters to be quiet this season. Cousins played his best game of 2021 today. 30 for 38, 323 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Good for a 128.4 passer rating. Mike Zimmer said it's the best performance offensively he's seen in his 8 years here. And Cousins is a big reason why his play has been trending towards what we saw today. 72% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions the first 2 games. The losses haven't been solely on him. And after the win, Cousins shared what he believes is allowing him to play at a high level.
I think I try to be the same guy, just be consistent, just make sure I'm always building relationships and, staying connected with teammates and asserting myself when it makes sense to do that.
I think, he's a guy who now is able to be in the 3rd year of the system and be around a lot of us players, and he just kind of trusts us and trusts the system, trusts the O-line.
Well, if you haven't heard, Dalvin Cook missed today's game. In 2 career starts prior to today, Alexander Mattison had just 121 yards rushing. Today, he had 112, and arguably one of his best games as a Viking. Mattison not only ran the ball well today, he also had 59 yards receiving. Now, the offensive line was better. Kirk and the wide receivers were better, but Mattison broke tackles today and had more yards after contact. He averaged over 4 yards a carry. This was his best showing, and the Vikings needed it.
I prepare every week the same way. I have a routine. KP's big on us having our routine, so going about it that way, having a routine, but just having to take care of my body a little different, knowing that, I'm taking all the reps in practice and then also going to have to be, up the first snap of the game. But, yeah, just taking it and attacking it the same way I would attack any other game.
All right, there are a lot of terms that we could use to describe Kirk Cousins. Having swag would not be the first that comes to my mind, which I figured out as soon as I looked up exactly what it means to have swag.
Yeah, running back Alex Mattison, he said QB1 has a different swagger about him this season, especially after switching lockers closer to the always swaggy Justin Jefferson. Here's what Cousins thinks about that.
Kyle Shanahan used to say that my swag was having no swag. And he told me as a rookie to never change. He said when I came out for my first preseason game, he said my jersey looked so big it looked like I was wearing a Halloween costume. And someone said something about, you should get a different face mask, a better jersey, this or that, wear your socks different. And Kyle cut him off. He said, no, his swag is having no swag.
I love that. All right, it is time for folks to weigh in. We have received an overwhelming response on Twitter and Facebook when we asked your thoughts on today's performance.
Yeah, it's a segment we like to call Take 11, where you summarize the game in 11 words. Thanks to everyone who submitted. Here are some of our favorites. Brent says, was such a great performance to see in person today. Amazing. I like that positivity. Sydney says, who is this team and what did they do with the Vikings? Maybe
Not
a
so
lot
positive.
of people asking that. Leslie says, it was amazing, especially because I was prepared for a loss. And Andrew says, this ghost Blair Walsh missed field goal will now be lifted. I don't know about all of that.
Well, if we're still bringing it up, it's never going to be lifted.
Good
Beth
Lord.
said, such a beautiful team win today. That is my team skull. John
like
says, super glad it didn't come down to another field goal. Yeah, Matthew said after today, these guys might not be so bad after all. Well, there's a little bit of positivity there. There's a lot more to come on tonight's edition of the Vikings Extra. We'll look at how the rest of the NFC North did today on the field.
Yeah, and the Lions endured something that can only be described as Lions football. All right, plus a look ahead at the Vikings' next opponent, the Browns, who had themselves quite a day. We're back after this timeout.
The Ravens. Justin Tucker booted the game-winning 66-yard field goal off the crossbar and through the uprights to beat the Lions in the most Lions way possible. 1917 is the longest field goal in NFL history. And a look at the NFC North. Packers at 2-1. After tonight, I thought they might be 1-2. Big win on Sunday Night Football against the 49ers. Chicago, Vikings in there at 1-2. And the Lions still being the Lions at 0-3. Well, next weekend is a homecoming of sorts when the Cleveland Browns come to town with head coach Kevin Stefanski, who also happens to be the Vikings' former offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's enjoyed so much success in Cleveland that they might build a statue for him along the lake. All right, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but he's got the Browns cooking. Kirk Cousins is going to have his hands full against Cleveland's defense. Just ask Bears quarterback Justin Fields. The Browns sacked the rookie quarterback 9 times and hold the Bears offense to just a measly 47 yards. He's doing a cabbage patch. The Browns pounded the ball on the ground. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt combined to rush for 165 yards. Goodness gracious. And the Browns 26-6 win over the Bears today. All right, new segment tonight called 3 and Out. I'm going to start things off with Justin Jefferson's big game. He caught 9 passes for 118 yards and a touchdown. Jefferson also became the fastest player to 100 receptions, doing it in 19 games, just ahead of former Viking Stephon Diggs. Good things happen when JJ gets involved in the offense, and it's scary hours right now.
That is very true. All right, my turn. I'm going to go with something we haven't seen in a while. A pass rush good enough to rattle Russell Wilson, who's 7-0 coming into today against Minnesota. Wilson, who has 6 touchdowns on the season coming into today, only 1 today. He was sacked twice, and that is lowest quarterback rating of the season. He was on the run often today. He still got some of his patented passes off, but the Vikings were able to limit Russell Wilson, and it helped out the rest of the defensive game as well.
Well, I got a little bit of a more overarching one. Justin Jefferson, nice. The defense, also nice. But the big factor, finally beating the Seahawks. The first win over Seattle since 2009. Dave, were you still in high school then?
Me? I wish I was. No, I was not.
A long
Well,
time coming, though, for Minnesota. Last 3 games were in prime time. All losses, including last year, the 4th down flop. Seattle goes down, wins the game with a touchdown. Then I don't got to remind you about the playoff game in 2016. Blair Walsh's name brought up once again. The missed kick. Well, we're just cleansing ourselves of that one. Big win this season.
That doesn't cleanse anything.
It does. That was the last one. We're moving on. We're moving on now. They won. They beat the Seahawks. It's no longer hanging over their heads. They beat the Seahawks. They can do it.
All right, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, did you ask me if I was in high school in 2009?
Well,
I'm older than you.
I wasn't in high school.
You were in high school.
Kirk Cousins was a sophomore in college. Look that one up.
I know. Well, I'll look that up
So
right
was
after.
I.
So were you.
Yeah.
right after I figure out what swag is. So, big game coming next week, Cleveland.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like I said, Kevin Stefanski doing really good things with that offense, kind of really making Baker Mayfield look like a nice quarterback back there. And that run game, very complimentary with guys like Chubb and Kareem Hunt rushing like they do. It's going to be interesting.
Did you enjoy your first Vikings game? You got ice cream.
Yeah.
You got snow.
Snow, I was not expecting that.
You got the skull chant. They did the wave.
Yeah, they did. And they kept
everything.
it going around.
It was working today.
I was surprised, and I was also impressed. That was a great atmosphere.
It was.
One of the best atmospheres I think I've taken in so far in my short time covering NFL games.
Well, it was nice to have fans back in the stands again today.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It was so loud. I remember you telling me that you and Perk used to have to get earbuds to try to kind of calm down some of the noise.
I almost felt like I could have used it today.
Yeah, it was loud in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun though. I enjoyed it.
All right, take us home, man.
All right, let's do it again. All right, thanks all for watching tonight's show. Thanks for watching. We're gonna do it again next Sunday.
Next week.
All right, we'll hope to see you then.